Not every crown is clean, not every cheer is honest, and not every village that dances is truly free. This is the story of a prince who had everything until he chose to have nothing. In the village of Umuzala, the people gathered. It was the night of ancestral celebration, when the spirits were said to watch the living. And on that night, the king announced his heir, Prince Ifenna, young, respected, destined. But beneath the chants and wine, the prince saw something else, something hollow, behind the smiles. Alone in his chamber, he questioned what his crown truly meant. Was it love the people had, or fear? Was it loyalty, or performance? And so, he chose to test the soul of his people, in silence, in disguise. Before the morning call of the cock, he stripped away royalty, clothed himself in rags, smeared his face with ash, and left the palace with nothing except the truth. For 3 days, he became a beggar in the village that once danced for his name. In the market, he reached for kindness, but met only rejection. Insults flew, laughter stung deeper than hunger. And that night, he slept beside refuse, with rats for company, and silence for comfort. By moonlight, he wandered to the sacred path, where truth often hides in shadows. And there, behind the shrine, he saw what should not be seen. The elders, the priest, the trusted ones, practicing dark things, selling pain, turning sacred ground into a place of curses and blood money. And when he stumbled back, they threatened his breath and cursed his silence. Wounded, weakened, he collapsed by the riverbank, where even the trees offered no shelter. But fate has its rhythm, and kindness often hides in the poorest of places. A widow, unknown and unseen, lifted the stranger from the dust, fed him with her last grain, cared for him without asking why. On the 3rd morning, he stood again, not as a beggar, but as a prince reborn. He left the widow's hut, carrying a truth heavier than any crown, and walked back through the same village that rejected him toward the palace gates. When the people saw him, they trembled, for the beggar they spat upon now wore the face of their future king. And there, in front of all, he laid bare what he had seen. The corrupt were named, the wicked exposed, the priest stripped of power, the people shamed, and one woman honored forever. A prince became a beggar to test the heart of his kingdom, and what he found was betrayal, was truth, was kindness. In the end, it was not the robe, not the crown, but the unseen acts of love that proved who truly belonged beside him. If this story stirred something in you, share it with someone who still believes in truth. And remember, kindness costs nothing, but reveals everything. Subscribe to African Stories by Mr. Banks, where silence speaks, and the truth never sleeps.